Hello everyone, I am Monica from IELTS 9. So as you can see, line graph. So that was part of 8th August 2024 IELTS exam held just recently. So you can see 4 line graphs are there. So how to write, how to analyze this bar graph, what are the vocabulary words we will be using it for this. Apart from these vocabulary words, I will be showing you different kind of vocabulary words that nobody is going to tell you. I am going to tell you what kind of these separate words are there. See this, I have just circled it. Whereas exports to the USA were slightly above. So when we are not sure about the percentage, the figures, that it is just 10 or something else, so we can just write. So I will show you. Just write, look at this. This is just above. So we will be right slightly above 10%, which lowered, see this lowered to near 7%. Near means it is not exact 7%. See this, it is not exact 7%, it is just 5% and between this. So we can just write lower to near 7%. Finally finished before going up. So at around, see this, these are vocabulary words. So nearly also, first period, year after year. So these are also reached near 27%. And another slightly below that of China, so which remained almost unchanged. So this is the main verb. So here, which remained almost unchanged. So these are vocabulary words. So while showing answer, I will keep telling you the answer. Let's start this question, that is line graph. So how to do, how to analyze first after getting the question statement, what you will be doing. You can look at the diagram. So here I can see 4 line graphs are there, but here I have made it in different colors. But in exam you will not get same color, different colors. You will get black and white or different shades, different design of lines. So here pink one is Japan, second is red one is US, and then China green, and India is blue. Okay. So I have seen years from 1992 2012, and data is given in percentages. So this we have analyzed. Now look at the line, which one is going down, which one is going up. So here I can see this green one, the China country, is going up and up, although it had started with minimal, so less than 5%. Okay. And this country Japan had started with the highest ranked number position, and gradually it is going down and down. Okay. And this orange one is this red one is USA, just above 10% it started, and with fluctuations it had lowered the main starting point. Okay. So this we have analyzed, and here you can just write if you want to write it before getting the details. So you can do one thing. So in exam there will be no line like this. So I have done with 30%. I have done this, I have done, so that you can easily come to know that it is exact or it is exact or not. So you can see this is not exact. This is between 20 and 15. So that's why it is important to mark these lines also along with the left hand axis. Okay. Now let's write its introduction. So how to write introduction? As I told you, we have to write, we have to paraphrase the question statement. That is the main thing. Of course, the graph below shows the percentage of Australian exports to 4 countries from 1990 to 2012. Here, some words, just paraphrase it. Each and every words you should not paraphrase. Now, the given line graph, this is also vocabulary. Okay. So the given line graph, so they have given only graph, so we know these are this is line graph. The given line graph illustrate, instead of shows we have written illustrates. Instead of percentage we have written the proportions. The percentage of Australian products we have exported to 4 nations. 4 nations. So in bracket we have given the country's name, that they have shared it, and between from instead of from I have used between 1990 to 2012. Okay. Now As I have already discussed with you how to analyze a thing, let's read it again. How to analyze, how to plan the writing task one. This, how many lines are there? So obvious, this is line graph, so we will see how many lines are there, what is the starting point of each line, and like we had seen, I will show. So starting point of this line is the highest among anyone, and these two lines are just minimal, they are starting from the scratch, you can say. Okay, so next is which is the highest. We have come to know Japan, and then lowest is India and China. You can say any striking point. Yes, striking point, you should look in the striking point, you can give it like it is in these lines are intersecting, or I think China line graph has given striking points. You can see all of a sudden it is going up and up. Okay, so surpassing every other lines in the graph. So you can write, and let's see the vocabulary here. For graph, or for line graph or bar graph or some data, whatever it is increasing, you can use the word increase, grow, rise. But yes, of course, if the years are past, then you have to change increased, grew, rise, rose, higher than, shoot up, reached. So these words you should use it. So change the words, this vocabulary word, into second verb. Decreased, dropped, lowered than, declined, lowered, or fall, fell. Okay, so ups and downs means fluctuations, and unchanged, these are the vocabulary words. So how to write overall paragraph? So this is overall. So we will be talking about highest and lowest and any other striking point. So let's read it. Overall, it can be seen that, so you can see the I have done underline with orange pen, you can see. So these are ready-made templates, you can use it for every kind of writing task one. Overall, it can be seen that overall it is readily apparent from the graph, you can write it that. Now the main important thing is here, Australian trade exports to China and India had increased over the time period. Okay, see, from here they had started, and China had increased also, and this also increased. So while Japan and the US had witnessed a decline in products from Australia imports. Okay, so one striking point to be mentioned. So why I have written imports? Because we are talking about Australian exports. So I have started sentence with Japan and USA had witnessed a decline in products from Australia. When Australia is exporting, means these countries are importing. So one striking point to be mentioned, China experienced a considerable hike in the line graph during the last tenure. Okay, so hike means increase. So considerable, this is also a vocabulary word. Okay, now how to write body detail paragraph? So you can write separately for each line. You can make 4 small paragraphs, or you can make one big paragraph for first two lines, or another paragraph for last 2 lines, because these 2 lines are like they are highest when it started and they are lowest when it started. Okay, so you can divide accordingly, but I have written separate line for a separate paragraph for each line. So you can see, first we will talk about Japan. Analyzing the first line, that is Japan. See this, analyzing the first line, that is Japan. In 1990, Australian exports to Japan were just above 25, which sharply declined to 20%, in the next year. Okay, 1995, before gradually declining to around 17%. See, this 17% is also there in 2012. See this is 17% in final. So we have talked about first year 1995 and the final year. Okay, this line initiated, now another important thing I am telling about this line initiated with number 1 rank but ended up with second position after China. Okay, so it started with the first line, but now ended up with second position after China. Okay, now red line means US. So whereas I have made separate paragraph, whereas exports to the USA were slightly above. So I have written the with USA because it is important to write the with UK and the USA, the United States. Otherwise, it's grammar mistake will be there. Exports to the USA were slightly above 10%. See this? Above, slightly above 10%. As I told you, this is also vocabulary in 1990, which lowered to near 7%, which lowered to near 7% in 1995 before going up to 10% again in 2000. So again 10% in 2000, and finally finished at around 7% in the last year. See this? Around 7% in the last year. See this? So just simply I have explained the lines over here. It can be, now green one we will talk, it can be observed that Australian exports figures with China were nearly 3%. See this? In the first period 1990, in bracket I have written, which kept up, shoot up. See this? It's shooting up. Okay, which kept up, or anything you can write, kept up or shoot, anything you can write, year after year, and reached nearly 25% in the 2012. So it means it had made China had made how many folds? So you can learn vocabulary for 27%. I don't know the exact because I don't remember now. You can learn the vocabulary for 3-fold or 5-fold, how many you can write. So just note it down, from 3% to 27%, you can write one good vocabulary word over here. Now blue one, India. However, in the case of Indian trade terms with Australian trade were slightly below that of China in the same year, which remained almost unchanged. See this? Which remained almost unchanged until 2002, before rising up to 5% in the last year. So before rising up to the 5% in the last year. So that's the thing we have given. And another main important thing you can tell, at 2-3 points the lines intersected 3 points, no 4 points, 1 2 3 4. You can write it if you want to write about these intersection points also. So this is full essay. You can see introduction, overall paragraph, then Japan, then USA, then China, and then India. This is the way you should write it.